Hey there everyone, this is Jeremy, the Music Andy, and we're here today to talk about Together from Duster. And oh man, everybody's been waiting on Duster to release more music since their last release in 2019, which was a solid album, especially since it came after a 19-year hiatus from the band. Duster are legends when it comes to slowcore, shoegaze, bass rock, lo-fi, especially with their album Stratosphere, which is a humongous cult classic. This album Together is marking their fourth release as a band. They're coming from San Jose, California, for those that care at home. Hopping on this band's Bandcamp before I listened to the album, I saw that there was a little message talking about how fans view this band as a sad band, and sometimes the band does view themselves as a sad band. But you really shouldn't focus on that too much because their lyrics are much more focused on absurdicism rather than nihilism. You could definitely fool me. These lyrics on past works are definitely, I think, depressive. I think that they're sad. And then on this newest album, they even have a track called Sad Boys, which I think is a little bit funny with them putting this message and then naming the track Sad Boy. But that doesn't matter. Let's just dive right into this album and see what we can get from it. I spent listens of this album in a room that was 71 degrees Fahrenheit, which is fairly warm for those that don't go by Fahrenheit. And I still couldn't help but feel the dreadful freezing nature of this album. Going from track to track, I was constantly getting covered in goosebumps. Instrumentally, vocally, lyrically, Duster's going to kind of take you into an area that's kind of tundrous. You're going to be in a very cold, frenzied environment. The lyrics are very mystical, mysterious. They have a lot of poetic nature to them, not really telling you exactly what they're saying right out in the forefront. You kind of have to read between the lines a little bit. There's themes about talking about the past and the memories that come with it. Going from day to day and all the absurdities of life, and then kind of also at the same time dissociating from time and from your physical body at points as well. Duster wastes no time with their first track, New Directions. The guitars on this are very dark, they're very dragging, they're very rugged. There's some bright features to kind of contrast them on this. The down-tempo drums, are a staple when it comes to slowcore music. I think that this is a fantastic way to start off the album. It almost has a Slint-like feel to it. Retrograde starts upbeat. It's a track that kind of focuses on the guitar. The guitar, again, starts upbeat, but there is a key tone switch into it, and it makes it a lot more melancholy, a lot more depressive. This is a more reserved track. I think that the lyrics and the vocal melodies on this help liven it up a little bit. I think it is a solid piece. And it is a lot more active on the layering. The bass is the guiding factor in this one. It's a lot more prominent. The feeling of this is kind of a slow dance with death, and then you match it with the lyrics, and that's kind of what the feel of this track is. I think this is a very solid track. Time Glitch is the next track on this one, and is one of my favorite ones. As we're kind of traversing through this album, it's got, murky waters, it has freezing air, and the synth that gets placed into this track does a good job of kind of cutting between both of these, adding a very chaotic nature to this, but still kind of reserving itself. This is slowcore, this is shoegaze, this is lo-fi. We're not going to have too much of abrasive features on this one. They're going to be a lot more reserved when they do come in. Teeth is your standard slowcore track. I think that it has a very nice boiling point at the end of this. It has some nice noise going on at the end. It really catches my ear, and it makes it for a very nice patient of a listen to get to that spot. Escalator and Familiar Fields are the next two on this one, and it's probably the best 1-2 punch on this album. These are a lot more active, a lot more layering going on. These feel a lot more full of a listen of a track. It has some of the best vocal melodies on this one. They constantly stick in my head, even after I'm done and I put down the album. I'm getting a lot of the old Duster vibes on this one. Jeremy likes that. I'm Jeremy. I like it. Moon Rome is a track that kind of feels like an interlude. It definitely fits into this album, even if it is a service as an interlude. It's still slowcore, and when this interlude gets introduced in, it just feels like another track, and it does it very well. It leads into the track Sleepyhead, which plays exactly how the name of it would. Heavy on the dream focus from the group. The guitar on this is drenched and drowning in reverb. It's probably one of the slowest tracks on this album. Kind of moves like molasses on a freezing day. Then the next 4 tracks on this are going to completely play us out in a fantastic way. Making Room is a huge song, full of very fuzzy guitars, that lo-fi feeling. The synths on this are going to have euphoric explosions over these very bassy lows and murky tones and everything like that. Drifter has the guitar kind of go with spring reverb, and speaking as a guitar player, every time I play with spring reverb, I think it sounds trashy. I think it sounds a little too cliche, a little too tacky. But of course, Duster does it and it sounds fantastic, and they make the whole track work with it. Once this track gets going, it has some really nice moans. Pause. I did say that it has some very nice moans on it. Feel No Joy has a very gritty, gaining guitar on it. The bass, again, is the guiding force on this one. And when you pair it alongside these vocals that sound like they're coming from chattering teeth, I think it's a very interesting listen. It's a very complex listen. It's probably one of the most complex songs on this one. Making Room, again, is another one of those, and Familiar Fields was another one that I felt was more on the complex side of the music. Also, the wah guitar that's placed alongside the noisy, frenziing environment, I think is a very nice touch. I usually hate wah guitars, but again, these guys just keep nailing all this shit that I hate. Then Sad Boys closes us out, kind of how the name of it would imply. It's a lot more of a gradual listen, kind of de-escalates the whole chaotic frenzy that was on the previous 3 tracks. It's a good ender. It doesn't blow me away by any means, though. Overall, this is a very comfortable album. It goes back to a lot of the fans back in '98, going back to their old sounds and a lot of the tones that they were using, the structuring they were using. But it's done in a lot more of a clean production style, which makes sense. I mean, it's 2022. If you want to do lo-fi, that's fine, but obviously they didn't want to do it too much on this one. Execution-wise, I think that these guys completely killed it. They took a slowcore album and they made it very interesting to listen all the way through. I wish that they took a little bit more risks and experimentation, but that's not really the genre, and that's not really Duster too much. These guys are very good at creating very nice atmospheres for you to kind of get lost in. Lyrics that are very mysterious, again, that you kind of have to read between the lines, and I can see why they are such a cult classic. Again, I wish that there was more risk, but I'm not going to complain about a consistent listen with some very standout tracks on it. I'm going to go 8.3 Newports out of 10 on this one. What do you think of this album? What albums would you like me to review in the future? Please leave a comment below and let me know. Subscribe if you like the content, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Go check out this album and smoke a cigarette on your back porch while you do it.